He's flying! Yes! There's history!
Now in front, the crowd roaring, go, Monroe, go! But the 3-year-old in front, Delsayo, long way, he's coming, he's going to get there! Yes, Longo won it! Grab by My Whisper, My Whisper won the last.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of the Whispers Racing Podcast. Definitely off-peak racing now. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Worm, mate. I think I've got another one to add to the intro.
Yep.
We'll get to it. How have you been, mate?
Yeah. Good, mate. Leads us into a somber note to start the episode. As we know, the incident with Dean Holland, it's quite sad to what happened. And, it's just feel just for the family because, you hear all the participants talk during the week and how he was a great man and well-loved, well-respected. And it just, breaks, especially my heart being a race horsing nuffy. So sad to see it happen to him. Rode a Group 1 on Newmarket Day after Jamie Carr fell off. And you just heard it in his speech. He said, I didn't want to jump to the sky and celebrate like an idiot. I have to pay respect to my fellow jockeys. And that was the sort of bloke he is. Never met him, but just well-spoken and just real sad, Matty. Your thoughts?
Oh, mate, I think we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago in terms of number one is always horse and jockey safety. It's absolutely devastating. Unfortunately, this calendar year, we've seen quite a lot of jockeys hurt, and obviously last week, we definitely that went a step further. So, unfortunately, we've lost, as you said, a really good person and very good what he did, and feel mostly for his family, leaving behind the 4 children.
Yeah, it definitely hits home when that happens, especially when you have kids. It was good to see Racing Victoria call the races off for Anzac Day to pay respect and let people grieve and deal with it the ways they need to deal with it. It was definitely a talking on our community, like punting, the wagering is king. And I put out there well before anything got said that they need to call the whole meeting off. And one of the people said, I agree, but wagering will take over. And that's what scared me a bit. And it was good to see Racing Vic just say, no, we're not going ahead. The right decision in my eyes.
Absolutely, yes.
One thing that as I said, guys, if you obviously it's well known, there's a GoFundMe page. Please donate if you can, especially if we tip you some winners here. Dive into your profits, donate whatever you would like, but just help out. I donated on Tuesday from a few winnings from a multi just to help out. It definitely made me feel a lot better knowing that I'm helping someone out, especially off my profits. Blow my own trumpet. But one thing I'd like to see, and it's good that the racing communities come together, like Racing Vic donated, Racing New South Wales donated, a lot of big owners donating. Fantastic. Great to see that they come together during a tough time and, they put their money towards a fund that needs to be helped. But one thing I would like to see, and I don't know how our people thought, but I'd love to see these online bookies. There's hundreds and hundreds of these guys dig deep and donate as well. Now, Ladbrokes has come out and donated $50,000. They can afford that. That's fine. And it's great to see that they're putting back into the community because they're quite happy to take our money. They're quite happy to cut us off as winning punters. They're quite happy to cut us off as promos. Supposedly we're abusing them. But it'd be just good to see them come out and just start donating as well because in the end, they're making a lot of money off us as well. So just a little thing. I just want to see these online bookies dig deep and give to this fund. I don't know. I think you'll stay quiet on that, Matty. But, it'd be just good to see. They're quite happy to take our money. I think it's a good deed and be more respected in my eyes if they dug deep.
That was a very nice gesture of Ladbrokes.
Bloody oath, and it's good to see and should be more promoted that they're doing it as well. Be interesting to see if any of the other big ones donate as well. We'll move on. Hawaii 5-0, Matty. We'll get you in because I know you've been chomping at the bit to talk about this horse.
Yeah, as you knew, I liked it going into Hawkesbury last Saturday. Mate, I think we may have found one here. Now, I want to get your thoughts on where you think this horse could progress to, whether it be heading up to Queensland or they put it back into the paddock looking for a run over the spring. But I tell you what, going around the corner, I was already walking up to the bookmakers to cash my tickets in. Nash rode an absolute peach and didn't need to do much on the horse. With 200 to go, the race was completely over. So I think I told you last week the way I found this horse wasn't so much how it had won, but it was more how it had been progressing, especially since it had gone from Michael Freeman across to Bolton Waterhouse. Should have won the start before. Very glad it didn't, because it probably would have started at $2. So very glad it didn't win. But yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a Group 1 contender moving forward. Worm, where do you see this one heading?
I'll start off. It absolutely pissed it. It spanked them. I didn't see the race or hear it. When you text me going, that was an easy watch, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's watch the replay. It wasn't an easy watch. That was the most, it pissed in. And I love watching that sort of stuff when people are on, and I was on, but totally forgot. But I was looking at markets like Group 1s. I was looking at Doomben 10,000s, Stradbrokes, because Brisbane don't have any 3-year-old sprinting races. So I thought, Gay's a big trainer to just chuck him in the deep end. But when we were just talking before, the rating 60 odd, high 60s, it ain't
60,
getting in.
64, 68, yeah.
It ain't getting in any Group 1s with that rating. So probably have to go back a step. I'd love to see it in the 10,000 though. If it does get a start, I will back it. But maybe they just be conservative, have two starts in Brisbane, get its rating up to 80 odd, and then you can really springboard into the spring in those early spring 4-year-old, or no 4-year-old races, but just like your Turax, your Rupert Clark's, big handicap races where it gets on the absolute minimum.
Absolutely. A couple of previous winners of the Hawkesbury Guineas: Chautauqua, Military Zone, Dawn Passage, Mr. Mozart. A few decent horses in there. And interesting, they do fluctuate from those sprinting types up to the mile too.
Yeah, 100%. I'm fascinated where they go. Do they stay to the sprints, or do they go to that 14, 1600? As I said, I'd like to see him in these Group 1s down here. It'd be well weighted, that's for sure.
Well, we won't talk about it anymore, but it won't be the last time you hear about Hawaii 5 on this podcast.
I can bank it in for a pineapple in about 3 to 4 months from you. Regan Bayliss this week suspended for 3 weeks for his ride on Pride of Jenny. Owner finally gave his evidence. Okay. The evidence was he was only meant to lead by 4 to 5 lengths and build into the race from the 600 metres. Now, I'm not going to bag Regan Bayliss much here. He's a good jockey, but he's not the best front-riding jockey, so he doesn't, know his times up front and all that. He probably does, but from my point of view, I don't think he does. They've selected the wrong jockey, and there was that many instructions. I think the jockey just absolutely lost it, as in, what the hell do you want me to do? Because the trainer would have given his thoughts, the owner's given the text message. So looking back on the review of the evidence given, I reckon the owner's thrown him under a bus.
When was the owner potentially talking out of his back pocket?
Potentially he's had a large bet on Pride of Jenny.
Okay.
So, yeah, from what I read out of a few articles, I just reckon he's thrown him under a bus and just said, no, off you go. Now, obviously, the trainer couldn't do much because they didn't give any instructions, supposedly. So they're not going to light a fire and add to it. So, yeah, I just thought maybe the owner could have been a bit more respectful for Regan Bayliss. He pleaded not guilty to the charge, which tells me that something's not right there. So, yeah, I think that's stinky. And 3 weeks, I think that's a bit harsh. Yes, punters lost their money. Not good. But, yeah, I think the crime doesn't fit the time in my eyes. Thoughts?
No, fair enough. Fair enough. As we said, it was the fastest run race we've seen up to the 800 metre mark. So, yeah, look, the stewards definitely needed to do something. And even if the instructions were send it forward by a long way, to your point, I don't think Mr. Bayless definitely had his best ride. So a couple of meetings on the sidelines, I don't think it will hurt him in this instance.
Bit of Ronald Reagan there, mate.
It was a little bit, wasn't it? Mr. Bayless.
Yes. Right, you are. Won the Mornington Cup on Saturday. I was there on track. What a race that was. Got to give credit to the club. Put on an absolute cracker of a race. Great field. Yeah, right you are. Obviously wins by a nostril. I might have been with the winning owners on the day, so that was a good yell to have, even though I didn't own it. But it was so good to see so many happy people on track. I've never seen so many happy owners absolutely having a fair income yell and celebrating. And I stood back watching, just going, how good's that? That's what I love about racing, just the happiness it can bring. But moving to the golden ticket to the Caulfield Cup, in recent years, we know now it's a weak race. Internationals do come, but they're really the poorer ones, the C grades that aren't really up to our grade. Remember, Smoking Roman's SP favourite for last year's Caulfield Cup. Do you give Right You Are any chance, Matty, this far out?
Certainly got to give it a chance. However, you don't usually see horses that are running this well in the autumn/winter go on and do it in the spring. So I wouldn't have thought so, but I wouldn't be writing this camp off. They definitely know how to set it for a race, and now it's been qualified for the Caulfield Cup. I would imagine all other plans have been put on the back burner.
Yeah, if this horse can run to its 2,000 metre win at Flemington two starts ago and run to that rating, it's definitely up to Group 1 level. As you said, it's how it comes back. It might have been cooked after this run and just doesn't come anywhere near what it does. But if it does, I think this is a genuine top 5 chance.
They almost need to keep it up throughout the winter.
Yeah, if we go off last year's field to this year, it's a genuine top 5 chance.
Yeah.
But international pending.
Again, I just don't see many from the autumn come back in the spring and do it all over again. So I wonder if we said a couple of times they just keep it up and about every 6 to 10 weeks, let it have a run, and that may keep its fitness where it needs to be ready for Caulfield Cup.
Yeah, and it was $26 currently for the Caulfield Cup, which I thought was quite generous considering we've made White Marlin the favourite of a Melbourne Cup who's not qualified and went under at $1.20 today.
Oof.
So, yeah, I think $26 is quite generous from the bookies. Last one we'll talk about, the big meeting in Hong Kong on Sunday, My Oberon and Aegon. I know they're not Australian horses, but we'll accept them as both running. It'd be interesting to see how they go, Matty.
Yeah, tell me, I haven't looked into it. What are they running in?
I think the 1,600 metre race.
Okay.
From memory, I'm not 100% sure, but I've just been reading articles about them being there. If it was a wet track, I'd be keen on My Oberon, but Hong Kong don't produce wet tracks.
No, their wettest track would be Hard 3.
It definitely would be. So I'm always fascinated how our horses go up against them. Laws of Indices ran third this time last year. So it'd be interesting to see where they rank.
Will be. Yeah, I haven't had much of a look on Sunday just at this stage, but it looks, if those two are involved in the same race, it'll be an interesting run.
Bloody oath. All right, track stats, guys. We'll get cracking now. Rail out 3 metres, hillside. Every horse gets their chance in my eyes on the hillside, but I always look for horses up on speed. So top 5 in running. Interesting part here, 5 to 10 mils is scheduled to start falling from Friday Arvo/night into Saturday morning. Now, we've had a windy day today, so I wonder if they've watered the track just to keep it nice. If they haven't and they're waiting on this rain, then if we get 5 mil, I don't think it does much to the track. If we get 10, we're probably going to look at around the soft 6, knowing what Sandown's like. They've probably had a little bit of sprinkling going on. We had a bit of rain today as well. So I think if we get the full 10, we'll get the soft 6, but wait till Saturday morning, chuck it on RSN or wherever you would like to listen or get your news from, and just work off that. It's going to be interesting to see how many mils fall Friday night. I might just ring Jane Bunn to get my final assessment. Thanks, Bunzy. Trial trackers this week. We're going to go to the lucky last here, Sandown, race 10, number 10, Cuban Link. Now, if you're an avid watcher of our episodes, you know I had something to say about this horse when it won first up. It's had 2 jump outs, and it's won both of them, and I've liked both of them. Times aren't flash, but that's fine. He's done it quite easy. Remember, this horse won first up. Post-interview, the camp were talking Cox plates. That's still ringing in my ears. So it must be a talented horse. And looking off the jump outs, they've both been really good. So conditions shouldn't be a worry. The biggest bonus here, Greg Urell always has his horses firing first up. So at $12, I'm happy to have a play here on race 10, number 10, Cuban Link. As I said, guys, we will be previewing races 5 from Rosehill, race 6 from Sandown, bets around the grounds, multi, and Matty's just going to go from 4 from the pineapple. So, Matty, kick things off with Rosehill race 5.
Thank you, mate. Just before we do that, just as part of your trial trackers, I just wanted to mention one. Now, this is more of a bit of a futures flutter where we'll be looking at the Queensland Oaks. Now, one that I saw win its maiden over 1,600 metres over in New Zealand. We know the New Zealand horses have been running exceptionally well when they've sent them across. Believe it's coming across. She's a con. Around that $15, $16 mark at the moment. I actually think you'll get better on the day. They don't generally come for them. They generally, in these races, the Oaks, the Derbies, so forth, tend to go for the local horses. So she's a con. I believe it's coming over. One to keep an eye on.
Okay, right. Hello, punters. Just push pause. Let's jump on futures markets and rightio. Kick things off, Matty. Race 5, Sandown, while I have a look for this horse.
Thank you, mate. Look, 4 horses I want to mention in this race, Worm. 2 of them are going to be right up on the pace, but outside of that, there's not a whole lot of pace within this field. So after that, I think there's probably a couple worth mentioning. One which I don't know which horse is going to show up, and another who's been fairly consistent. So, Worm, just before I mention those 4, have you got the odds here for us?
I do, mate. We're currently sitting at the favourite here, Kips Bay, at top odds $5. Vowmaster $6, Hellfest $6, Dashing Legend $6.50, Fox Fighter $7, and the rest $12 to $17. Very even race.
Very good way to describe this race, Worm. The way I do my stats, just in terms of benchmark, I've got all these horses being within 1 length of each other. So there's no standout when it comes to this. So if there is something you do like at odds, I would not be talking you out of it. But Worm, the speed I see being set within this race is going to be between Conscript and Kips Bay. Now, Kips Bay third up, I think it's going to be a lot more positive than what it was last start and use that wide gate to really get across. Kieran McAvoy from Marion number 10, I think will slot across, sit on the outside of Conscript. As I said, third up, I think it'll be a lot fitter. And the way I'm seeing this race is I believe that these 2 will probably have a bit of a gap on the rest of the field. So coming around the bend, they do have an opportunity to create a bit of a break in the field. So Conscript and Kips Bay, if they do have that with 200 to go, they're going to be exceptionally tough to run down. So Kips Bay, Conscript, if you like either of those 2, would not talk you out of them. I was a little bit surprised Kips Bay was as short as what it was. I thought it would have been a little bit more juicy within the market. But yeah, I can definitely see those 2 getting a break on the rest of the field and being very, very tough to run. The one from the James Cummings stable out of Barry number 1, Hellfest, completely depends on which horse shows up on the day. There's a lot of form lines you can talk to within this horse. And if you talk yourself into it, you could have it on top quite easily. I think it's definitely a winning chance. However, I couldn't tip it just with how inconsistent it has been. So Hell's Fest from Barry number 1 could definitely push up, probably be sitting third within this field. And look, again, winning chance, very even. Where I've landed on top, Vowmaster. With James McDonald on board, carrying 55 kilos. Vowmaster, look, first up here, it's an interesting one. I can see it, if it misses the kick at all, sitting last. If not, it could be as close as fourth. There's 5 or 6 horses here that have a very similar racing pattern, and Vowmaster's sitting right in between a lot of them. So if it jumps better than them, it'll be sitting in front. If not, it'll be in that congestion, which isn't exactly where we want to be. I'll be backing James to get us out of that traffic. But first up, I'll be expecting this to be ready to go. Waller always has these horses ready to go first up. Not a fan of them second up. But realistically, it is the horse in the field that can run the best time. Whether it's going to get that opportunity or not will be the biggest question mark. At that $5.50, $6 mark, I'm happy to have it on top. As I said, it is a very even race, so I wouldn't be driving too hard into it. Worm, how did you find this one?
Yeah, as you've stated, very one length between all of them, so that makes it a tight race. And notes I made was Fox Fighter from barrier 6. If he can sit midfield, now normally been racing towards the rear of the field, if he can sit midfield on the 7-day backup, I don't mind. Malkovic form reads well, but there's an apprentice on board, so that scares me a little. Dashing Legend form reads well, but it's had back-to-back runs on heavy tracks. Probably didn't suit it, but gets back onto a better track. I just wonder if there's anything left in the tank for this horse. But then the one I'm happy to be with, if barrier 1 is okay to, or the inside's good to be, is Hellfest. Oh, I know it had a jump out on the synthetic, but geez, that jump out was impressive. I liked it. The thing I like more about this horse, 3.64 off IME, SP'd $8 in the Oakley plate. So if that can bring that sort of form to this race, I think it can win. Vowmaster, I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to talk anyone out of it, especially you, Matty, the way you're seeing them. So I'm definitely going to keep it on side. I'm probably going to have a 2-bet play because of your confidence on Vowmaster.
No, I can't disagree with that. Yeah, Hellfest's last trial was quite exceptional. The one before that was very disappointing, but I wonder if it was just out for a bit of a trot that day. So it'll be an interesting race, as we said, very even. It'll very much come down to how the race pattern pans out.
Definitely. While you were previewing that race, I just had a look. She's a Con, $15 for the Queensland Oaks. And just watched its replay last start. Wow. If the going is heavy, look out. This is, probably it's spaced a very average field, but geez, I like the way it moved. Definitely.
Definitely got around them very comfortably.
100%. Race 6, I'm going to preview here. Matty caught me off guard because he gave a little sneaky bet there that I had to have a look at. I always like to look up, especially the New Zealand form. I like to look up what they're about. All right, the odds here, courtesy of the top odds of everyone that I can see. Cat Zoo is 210, roughly, we'll go. South of Houston, $7. Fazoo $8. And then you can have $11 the rest. And I'm not going to mention the others because you can hear my preview and you can see why I won't go through many. Speed map here. I have the two Mick Price horses here, KGB and South of Houston, both leading. I don't think they break many records up front. Both of their runs have been in slowly run races. Now, Katsu, barrier 9. It's got a decision to make. Does it sit midfield out wide or does it come outside these guys and put pressure on? Because I don't think they're going to go much speed. Katsu likes fast run races. Filled the Flutes and Private Jumbo, they're probably going to find nice spots from their barriers, respectively, from 1 and 4, smoking the pipe behind the leaders. But barriers here won't be much of an issue because remember, 1,000-meter races at Sandown is just like a quarter turn. So they will use most of the home straight, the width. So they'll be spread out and every horse gets their chance. It's not like a Caulfield 1,000 where you got more of a turn. This one's just a little quarter turn. Barrier, no issues. In saying all that, I'm pretty keen here on Katsu here. How impressive was its win last start at Sale? Go and have a look. I don't think they really got out of first gear. I thought it could have won by more. It was arrogant. We can tie in some form lines here around who shot Susie. So remember, who shot Susie? Katsu beat it by 3.5 at Sale. And let me remind you, I'm going to keep saying it, it won arrogantly. Since that win, we've been back to the jump outs and we won under a hold. Second in that jump out was Verenskova. Now, that's a handy horse. Not worried about the barrier here, as I said, can sit out of trouble, run its own race, and when they're straightened up with about 300 to go, can pull the trigger and race away. Vizutu, no knock here on the 7-day backup from Mornington. Nice win. The fourth horse was Who Shot Susie, which they beat it by 2 lengths. So we've got a 1.5 buffer on it already. If the second horse had any luck out of that Mornington race, it wins. And we're probably getting double figures for Zutu. So that's something that I mentioned last week with She's All Class. And I'm going to mention it here with any luck. For Zutu doesn't win. Now, the Guava, Fishin, Private Jumbo, Vizutu, KGB, Filled the Flutes. They've all met each other over their career. And they've taken turns on beating each other up. And now I just think they're just another number in this race. Don't give them any chances. They probably win now because I'm potting them. But when they're beating each other up on different races, different tracks, different distance, it's nothing to be excited about. You can't tie any form lines in with them. Now, the roughie of the race here, my Harakoni, I'll go with. It's number 10. Go and watch its last start from Cranbourne. Had barrier 1, had to come down the middle of the track to make its run. Just wouldn't have had any luck if it stayed there. Now, if it had any luck, I think it pushes the winner for Zutu. I know I made it a number and it's all raced against each other and all that, but with any luck, my Harakoni would have beaten it. Now, for Zutu's $8, and now they're asking us to take $19 my Harakoni. Zutu's come out and won a couple of, a race. So I don't know why this price is so differential. I just think we can have something small on this at a big odds. He's going to be out in the back and wide, and if they go too fast, he might be the one screaming down the outside on a 1x3 play. But I'm very keen here. Katsu, class above, and it should be winning better races than these. Matty.
Very well previewed. For Zuto, I tend to agree. Times last start's win was quite similar to Katsu. So definitely need to take it into consideration. What were your thoughts on South of Houston?
Yeah, he is the interesting runner. First up was a little bit disappointing. I thought didn't win, but it was first up, so you can say, yeah, better for the run and all that. And geez, by the eye, it looked like it went super. Great win. SP'd really short. So, yeah, definitely the one to watch. But what I don't get is the ratings I use, it didn't improve a hell of a lot off that first up run to second up. So that's my only knock on the horse. if they can get cheap sectionals up front and wear out the back, it definitely can be the winner. But I don't think that happens. And yeah, I think we are better than this horse.
Yeah, no, fair call, and especially if you have a look at it, it won a maiden. Prior to that, came second at a benchmark 64, where it looked like it battled on a little bit. We do have Fazzuto and also Katsu running in benchmark 70s and winning quite comfortably. So, yep, that form line ties in quite nicely.
Yeah, definitely. WhatsApp guys, please, if you want to be part of our WhatsApp community, please DM one of us. I'll put my email down below. Please email if you want to be part of it. Great community, sharing our thoughts, mine and Maddie's thoughts. Your thoughts get shared. It's just a good community to be part of. So please subscribe to our channels, Whispers Racing Podcast, obviously on YouTube or any podcast platform. Please like, share. Please even get part of it when I put out the links to these. Get a part of it. Tell us your best bets. Tell us what you think. Yeah, we'd love to engage with more of you out there. And upcoming this week, I will be doing podcasts for Warrnambool day 1, day 2, day 3. It's 3 separate episodes. So if you know anyone that wants to join me, please DM me, and I'm happy to have you on. Maddie's, I'm banned him because he's had too many pineapple wins, so he's not allowed on. But yeah, if you want to be part of it, please DM me. I'm happy to have anyone on. Yeah, I'd love to get 3 different guests. I'm trying to line up a special guest for day 1 of the Warrnambool Carnival, and he doesn't even know yet.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
But yeah, any thoughts, Matty?
I could have a couple of thoughts at who your first guest might be, but I'll leave that. I'll leave that alone, so it can be a surprise.
Ooh, I reckon you're not even close.
Okay.
Because I don't even have one. No, I've got someone lined up. I'm hoping they can find some time on Sunday night to jump on board to preview race to race.
No, it's good. I wouldn't add too much value at Warrnambool. It's definitely a different meet.
Yeah, it definitely is. Looking at the noms, they're huge. And yeah, the track is already under fire, and we haven't even had a race there yet. So
it'd be a flop.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not going this year. I will get FOMO halfway through 9 a.m. on Tuesday when I should be on track by then. But nah, so stay tuned for Sunday night, early Monday morning for episode or day 1 of the Warrnambool Carnival. Around the grounds, Matty, where are we heading?
Well, mate, I thought we'll keep with the theme. We'll stay in Melbourne. You've previewed race 6, so we'll go race 7 so the punters can have a bit of a running double. I'm quite keen on Snapped in this race, paying around about $4 at the moment. Back to a benchmark 84 will definitely help. This field is not deep whatsoever. Barrier number 4, Jai on board. It'll get to sit wherever it wants. I expect it to sit slightly better than midfield. So $4, I'm quite happy to take that price, especially when this horse got within half a length of Veriskova. So quite comfortable to be taking Snapped at the $4 mark. We'll then jump up to Brisbane Eagle Farm and the Group 2 Victory Stakes. Worm, I will be with Private Eye around the $3 mark at the moment. I think you can get slightly better. Now, completely forget the TJ run. Was solid in the new market. What I like is that at one very similar race with this quality of field back in the spring, was around about the 1st of October at Flemington. And I'm expecting it to bring that form up to Eagle Farm. Now, the horse that I do see as being the danger is King of Sparta. At its best, I think it'll take it right up to Private Eye. But I definitely haven't been seeing the best of King of Sparta to be backing punters into it. So I will be with Private Eye in the Group 2 Victory Stakes. The only other one I wanted to mention was in the race following this. Now, Kovalika, Chris Waller horse, that ran 3rd earlier on this month and I was a little bit disappointed it ran so well because I was hoping to get a better price in its next start, which was here. That was in a 1,400-metre race. It's going to be set for the Queensland Derby, and I will be all over it for the Queensland Derby. That is over 2,400 metres. It's racing over 1,600 metres this weekend. And you're going to need to take about, 220 at the moment. I don't necessarily want to be backing punters in at 220. Good horse. It'll get back again, run on. So can it win? It certainly can. What I prefer to do, though, in a race like this is take the fortune teller, where you can get around $455 for it. So the fortune teller at double the price, I'd be more than comfortable, or I'd be much happier taking the fortune teller over Kovalica in this specific race. Can Kovalica win? It absolutely can. Do I want to find out at that $2 mark? Probably not.
We might as well start with Kovalica. 100% agree, mate. This horse has talent. Definitely Queensland Derby. I'm getting involved for that race. You summed it up perfect, mate. 240. Do you want to get involved or not? And it's hard from that barrier, knowing what they might do. They probably go back, as you said, 240 to find out. I'm saying no now, but come race time, I'm changing probably my mind and having a decent crack because I'm either winning or losing, and I need to get more or get out. But yeah, well summed, mate. It's a talented horse. If I keep talking, I'm going to back it. So I'm going to shut up now. Snapped, 100% agree with you, mate. I tossed and turned which one I put up for previewing. Snapped, go and watch its last run. I reckon it should have won, beating Veroscova down the straight. It either got lost or it was just uncomfortable going down the straight. It's won at Sandown. It pissed in at Sandown last time. Gets back to it. So tick, tick, tick. If it's a soft 5, no worse, I'm having a bet. If it's soft 6, I'm halving my bet just because I don't think it likes the softer tracks. So that's just my thoughts. But pray for no rain and we can really fucking have a launch. Excuse my language, but I'm pretty keen on it. My around the grounds. Adelaide, race 8, number 3, Loco. This horse does a lot wrong and still finds a way to either win or be right up in the finish. I feel this horse is coming out of a strong race. The third horse, Dashing, just went down 7 days ago in the Mornington Guineas, just got nutted. Really like the appointment of Ollie on here. I know he's not going too well. Maddie, I know you're the biggest critic, but I just think he needs a stronger rider. And if this horse puts it all together, this will be a very scary, scary margin. But it's as the trainer said, it's a dumb horse not knowing what it's doing. So I think that's why we're still getting $2.80 because of it. But if it puts it together, it could be a Hawaii 5-0 run. But yeah, race 8, number 3, Loco. Multi, I'm going to chuck 2 in. I'm going to chuck in Loco, and I'm going to chuck in the Brisbane Lions because they just keep beating up shit sides, and they're just an auto bet. I know it's $1.14, but just chuck them in a multi. They just keep beating up these shit sides until they play someone decent. Matty.
We'll be throwing Snapped in for the place and Vow Master for the place to make sure that we get this week's.
Did you cost us the multi last week?
Well, if you go back and listen, I technically didn't. Where did Benno run?
Outside the placings.
It ran 5th. I asked you to put it into the top 5.
Oh, it was so, even on the corner, I thought we were running a drum. But no, that's all right. We're the 3 out of 4 multi-podcast as always. But I just thought I had to dig it in because I did it for, I think, 3 weeks straight or 4 or 5. So, yeah, so Brisbane the win, Loco to the win, Snap the place, Vow Master the place, $9.20, whoever you bet with, but it'll be around $9. Now, the important week, Matty, Pineapple of the Week, we're 3 from 3. Can you break new records? I'm ringing the Guinness World Record Book to this into their book this week for 4 out of 4. No one's done it on any podcast or even had a pineapple of the week. So we're hitting new grounds. Where are we going?
Mate, I scaled the coast. I scaled Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria. And, mate, I really wanted to go something in Queensland. There were a few shorties up there. You look into those fields, and I just want to be very wary for the punters out there. There are a few short price favourites up in Queensland that have a lot of dangers in those races. So I wouldn't be going too deep into them. I looked at all of them because I thought there might have been a pineapple somewhere near it. I'll give you an example. Race 7, Eagle Farm.
Yep.
Antino, paying about $1.90 at the moment. National Choice will beat it.
Okay.
Paying $7.
That's the ex-Mick Price horse.
Yep.
Couldn't get out of its own way down here.
We'll beat it.
Right.
Just moral of the story, be careful up there with a couple of those shorties.
Okay.
New South Wales couldn't go near it this weekend.
Yep.
So we've landed in Melbourne at Sandown, and when we're going to be going race number 6, and I'm not taking him on because I dissected this race too. And Katsu, I tell you what, unless I've drunk the Kool-Aid, it's going to be exceptionally hard to beat. I can't understand how we've been offered 210, 220 at the moment.
Yep.
So please, I think you're not going to get a 2 in front of it on come jump time. So I would be jumping into it as soon as you hear this. And I know some of the community have already been talking about it. So it's not just us that have seen this. And that's probably my only concern, that everyone has seen this and we're missing something. But for me, everything stacks up with Katsu. 210, 220 will be the pineapple this week, Worm.
Yeah, please gamble responsibly, but geez, have a crack. I'm definitely going to head out to the races to see this horse in the yard because I'm going to have a nice bet on it. 100% agree with you. I can't see how this starts any larger than $2.
No.
No.
As you mentioned, when you preview the race, I won't go over it again. But for Zuto and South Houston, they were the only two that I could even look at as being a challenger for Katsu. And South Houston, I could write that off very quickly. Zuto could be a slight danger, but I've got a good length and a half behind it, as you mentioned. So, we'll leave it there.
Well, right, we'll end it there. We'll be back next week. As always, thank you for joining, Matty. Day 1 of the Warrnambool podcast will be out Sunday night, Monday morning. Get involved. You're going to Warrnambool, drink responsibly, gamble responsibly, but geez, have a decent crack because it's schoolies over 40s down there, and it's a great time to get involved. But we'll be back next week, and have a good punting week, Matty.
Likewise, Worm. Looking forward to it.
I'm not a good person, but it just goes to show that good things do happen to bad people. So anyone out there who's up against the wall, fucking stick to it. Every cent you got, your rent, your electricity bill, if you're going to buy your missus a ring, don't fucking do it. Keep punting. Keep fucking punting.